Okay, hello everyone. I'm Adelė Dovydavičiūtė, one of the organizers of Oopen House Vilnius event. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm representing Oopen House Vilnius team today and would like to tell you about the event, what it is, what are the goals of Open Architecture Weekend, also to share the results and mostly the process of our teamwork that leads to the final result, one weekend event. Even though there's not much time today, I'll try to picture all the main highlights and hopefully our working principles and experience could be useful or inspiring for some of you. First of all, I would like to start with the introduction of the origin of Oopen House and what happened here in Vilnius in previous few years. Oopen House, that's a format of event that has recognition and success all around the world. In 1992, for the first time, architecture event took place in London, and in 25 years it became really popular and spread all around the world. So now Oopen House Worldwide family has more than 30 cities all around the globe, such as New York, Chicago, Barcelona, Oslo, Melbourne, and others. And in 2015, Vilnius joined this family as well. By the concept of the event and requirement from Open City organization that is in charge of Oopen House Worldwide network, every single Oopen House event has to be organized by local non-profit organization and has to be free for everyone. Here in Vilnius, event is organized. Oh, sorry, I forgot this. Yeah. Here in Vilnius, event is organized by non-profit, independent, and volunteering-based public institution Architecture Fund, which is working in architecture, education, and culture fields. Architecture Fund is based on people and their ideas, so everything is starting from the bottom, and all the initiatives are realized by their initiators. Here you can see all the people that are participating in Architecture Fund. Yeah, but you can see that it's quite a lot. Okay, how Oopen House started in Vilnius and what it is in general. Oopen House was decided to be organized in Vilnius because of a wish to spread its amazing, at the same time simple concept, in order to provide architectural education, if I could call it like that, for broader society. Oopen House Vilnius is an open architecture weekend during which usually or partly inaccessible buildings in Vilnius city open their doors for the public, for the wider public. This year event will be taking place for the third time and will invite Vilnius and its inhabitants and guests to explore and meet quality and exceptional Vilnius architectural objects. Guided tours are held in the buildings participating in the program for only one weekend in the April. On these excursions, because the format is live tours, on the excursions, volunteers reveal special features of architecture and buildings creation processes, history, and nowadays stories. So event is free of charge and open to everyone. Main goal of Oopen House Vilnius is to popularize quality architecture and to create new possibilities of meeting, recognizing, and evaluating the architecture. Main criterions for architecture and for the buildings to be picked up to the program are two. It's very simple. It's quality architecture and full or partly inaccessibility for public. Our audience is wide, but target group and most of the audience are young, curious, and eager to explore Vilnius inhabitants and guests. To the process will involve around 300 people from architectural field into the event organizing process in total, so that's quite a big thing, I think. Okay, now I'd like to show you a bit of results. So 2015 and 2016, we already had 2 years. So you can see the difference. The event takes place for 2 days. First year we had 30 buildings, second it was 44. But then the visits are not connected with the number of buildings we can see. So first year it was more than we expected because our target was 5,000. And just to make sure this is not people, it's visits, because some people can visit like 2 or 4 buildings in a weekend, which is like average. So this is not people, but visits, but you can see how it increased. And also, we really like these numbers, is if you put all together all the hours that the tours were made. So first year it was 32 working days, if we take that one working day is 8 hours. And then second year it was almost 2 months in only one weekend. Volunteers numbers are also growing, architects involved, so so this is it. And in 2 weeks we will have 50 buildings, and 19 of them gonna be new. So visits and tours numbers I can't tell you yet, architects as well, and we already have 300 volunteers. Okay, what makes open house phenomenon, and what are the reasons of event success? First of all, that's the concept and format of event, ability to explore architecture at the scale 1-to-1 in a professional but interesting and understandable manner. From the number of visits that increased radically only in the second year, and from the positive feedback that we get, it is obvious that there was and is a need for such an event. Another important thing of success is atmosphere. One of the main goals we have is to create festival and celebration of architecture mood that would welcome everyone. And another thing is dream team. Most of things starts from the inside. From the beginning, all the people that were invited to start this initiative were already experienced in volunteering in Architecture Fund, projects, activities, lectures, and all were very passionate and stubborn to make it happen, and happen in a good quality. So you see the results and what this event is about. If we have to say the purpose of it in one word, it could be an education. But education here is hidden agenda. We never highlight it when presenting event for the society. So having in mind this candy education, now I'd like to present what is behind this one weekend event and how preparation and process is organized to make this candy tasty and to package it to the tempting box. As the festival and the program grows each year, team is growing as well, but the principles of how we work are staying the same till now. Open house team this year consists of these people, you can see them here. In total it's 12 of us. First year we started with 7. We all work together for the most important questions, but also we are responsible for different departments in the team. And all these departments are inseparable and needed, and the event wouldn't happen with all of this. So it's program, budget, volunteers, design and identity, communication and publicity. How everything works. Event takes place every April, and we start organizing open house in late September, so you can count that it's half-year period. It takes a lot of effort and work to make it actually happen. So we have meetings every Tuesday starting September till April, and April basically whole event is every single day. And on those meetings, it happens every week, so on those meetings we are updating each other what is the situation in each department and what are the issues. We are solving the major problems at the meetings, but this is just a part of work. Most of the work is done on our free time, on our working time secretly, because we are all volunteering. So here is the calendar, and maybe it's really hard to see things, but these are these all departments. So it's program, budget, here, if you can see, yeah, this is communication, design, and volunteers. And this is just Christmas, which is same thing. We are not working on Christmas, but then this is the event. And you can see that all the work has to be done through all this year, half year, and it is pretty intense. And yeah, so in last chart here, you see volunteers. So we start from the beginning, preparing for that. And it is another very important part of our team. We have 2 types of volunteers. It is mentors of the buildings and volunteers of the event. First ones, they are in charge of preparing everything for the guided tours, and they are in charge of the buildings. And so they join us earlier, and the event volunteers joins us few months prior the event. Their two main duties are to learn the excursions and to prepare to be guides, to learn and understand how to control flow of people and form queues, which might seem like, what is it to form a queue? This is not a big deal. But yes, in general, this is our major problem. We can't overcome it in 2 years because numbers are big. So we are hoping that it's going to happen this year. And these are our volunteers. At the organizers team, we work in principles based on the horizontal democracy, trust and passion. When it comes to the point when volunteers are joining, we could say it starts to be more vertical. But of course, trust and passion stay. So, like shortly, this is the curator. 7 people of our 12 people has from 5 to 12 buildings each. Then every single building has a mentor. Either it's one person or a pair of people, and then they do have their volunteers, which are helping them in the event. And the curator first contacts the building, then architect, and so this is a small scheme how everything is working. What each department is responsible for, and what are the biggest challenges in each. So the program department, the major task is to make the program. And everything starts by making a list of candidates which are picked based on the criterions, then communicating with the owners of the buildings, with the architects of the buildings, with the ones that are living in the buildings, and secondly, it's communicating with mentors and preparing all the excursions, gathering information, making everything to happen. Another department is budget. Budget challenge here is that money is always a problem and you never have as much as you need. But we have to accept this because without money nothing would happen here, even though we are volunteering, but all the rest has to be paid. So for now, since now, most of our budget, around 70% is funded by Ministry of Culture. But for that, every year we have to apply for the competition, and the money is never guaranteed. So it is a bit of a lottery, but we are trying hard to work hard that we would prove them that we need those money. Another part is commercial sponsors, and some of them are supporting us cash, like money, and others are supporting us with services or discounts. So this is how we manage to pay for everything. I already mentioned volunteers, but with this department of volunteers, the biggest challenge is to communicate with them, to find them first of all, and to give attention to everyone, to give them training, and to do meetings, and then to communicate with them before and in the event. So yes, this department is only one person there actually, but she knows everyone and communicates with every single 300 volunteers. Design and identity. This part is important because through the design we are reaching our target group and all the audience. Design starts from main things like identity, slogan, posters, guidebooks, website, and ends with the small things like souvenir bags or social media posts. And these are our first year posters, second year posters, and this year posters, the new ones. Maybe you already see them in the streets, we just launched it. Okay, and the last department is communication. Sorry, I forgot to mention about design. We are not doing it ourselves, of course. We are working with designers, photographers to make it in the highest quality as possible. And the last department is communication. So this department is responsible for all the articles that goes out to media, communication with media, preparation of those articles for portals, and for all types of advertisement in media and city, radio, TV stands, making interviews. And for this we're working together with the communication agency because we need professional advices and we can't do everything ourselves, so it is a shared work. Challenges that I haven't mentioned yet, I'm sorry, I will try to be very quick, yes. So first of all, the creation and improvement of the system that we use to organize event, even though the concept comes from Open House worldwide, all the rest we had to come up ourselves to make all the system work and happen. Then preparation is major task, but when it comes to the weekend of the event, we have not just sit and enjoy it, but we are actually running around the buildings, solving the issues and problems that are appearing, trying to make everything as smooth as possible. Growing scope of the event requires more resources, people, time, money, and etc., which in near future might lead to reorganizing the scheme that we use, because we see that we won't be able to have more buildings otherwise. Communication with buildings is another big challenge, because, for example, till now we still don't have any private houses, even though we are trying every single year. But maybe it takes time. I think that it will happen somehow. And last but not least could be growing. The event wouldn't happen and be successful for complex things, but when looking from the inside, one of the most important things is to be aware of must to grow as a team, and this may take event. That this way we could make event grow with us. So for that we are doing, we are trying to learn from mistakes and doing not just brainstorming and working, but doing reflections and seminars for ourselves as a team. For conclusion, in general, our event is not actual action in the field when we make visible or physical change in the urban structure or public space. But we believe event is an important part of education of society. When people start to learn to understand what is good quality architecture environment, when we'll be able to value it, then the ground change could start. Just there's more time needed, and so we will carry on doing this job. And what keeps us going is hard work, commitment, and staying passionate. Team and its atmosphere, very positive feedback from the people and society, buildings, volunteers, and all participants. I guess one of the most important fuel, especially at least for me, is ability to see this moment in people when open doors and opens their eyes and minds. So yes, thank you for attention, and I would like to invite you all to attend the event on 22nd, 23rd of April here in Vilnius, and more information could be found here. Yeah.
Yeah.